can immediately take advantage of any fissure, any overgrowth that you find from the tree line, just get in there. I think the biggest challenge for Alliance, honestly, in this game is to keep their supports alive. I don't think playing Crystal Maiden is particularly fun in a game like this.
You could have just stopped it.
And even Snapfire, who's a relatively tanky support and stands far back, you're just not safe against these heroes. And a little bit of a problem is the protection that you have against Ember and Slark is relatively limited, right? Like, what do you have? You have Ravage, Frostbite, and a Cookie, and a bit of a stretch you have Aether Remnant, but that one's going to be hard to land. And Slark can purge off all of this if he times it well. So I think Alliance, absolutely paramount in this game. Get off to a good start in the lanes, and you need honestly just stellar positioning on supports in this game to not just end up feeding.
Right. I mean, last game T1 got off to a really good start, and just I mean, that was basically the game. It felt like it just snowballed out of control of Alliance, and they weren't able to really do much from there on out. As top lane, we are seeing some action. Zephyr playing the Treant Protector, which we'll talk about in just a moment here. Actually, we can do it now, Cinder. Your thoughts on this pick, since a lot of other teams don't pick Treant at all.
Yeah.
But T1, one of the few exceptions.
I had this theory, actually, that... so in the group stage, we had a couple of games with Quincy Crew. I think that was in day one, where they picked Treant in 2 games in a row, and it just didn't really work for them. And I had this theory, okay, maybe they've been scrimming against T1 and been rolled. Because, like, almost no other team, like you said, plays it. Oh, Zephyr is in trouble. He will be fine, though. No, almost no other team plays it, and it's been respect banned against T1 by basically every team. PSG even yesterday showing respect to Zephyr's Treant, so we'll see what it's all about here. I honestly like that Alliance let it through to change things up in this game, because obviously the last game just wasn't working out. Yeah. So they're choosing to give something else over and see what they can do about it. Unfortunately, to me, this is a really good Treant Protector lane, so I don't think they address the hero very well in the laning stage, and that's a really big part of what T1 use it for, is this hyper-aggressive play coming out from Zephyr.
Yeah, and Zephyr, of course. I mean, Tree as a hero, highest base damage in the entire game, so the level 1 potential in terms of just trading right clicks is better than anybody in the entire game. As you can see, Carl playing the Ember Spirit this time around versus Limp's Void Spirit, so the Spirit Brothers at it again. What's relatively even right now is, I mean, who would you favor just hero-to-hero matchup between these two?
In the mid lane?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much a wash. Honestly, this lane very often ends with a draw. Comes down to who gets the first gank, or like sometimes I think the player who's most likely to find a kill, or the hero rather that's most likely to find a kill in this lane, is probably the Ember. But either way, it generally comes off the back of overconfidence, overstepping to get CS. You're going to see them play completely neck and neck here, right? They're getting the exact same CS, the exact same items. Literally identical inventories, just with different item orientation. Same number of bottle charges. Oh, Carl used his Tango.
Oh boy.
You gotta follow suit. Doesn't matter your full health. Do it for the fans.
Yeah, do it for the fans.
And he's gonna have to use it now.
Cookie's gonna connect onto Whitemon in the bot lane. Looks like he'll be safe. Using an Earth Spike to try to trade a little bit of damage going their way. I mean, this is the lane we haven't talked about yet, but 23 Savage playing the Slark against a Tidehunter, which historically is pretty good for Slark in terms of the mid to late game once you get past the laning stage. Because you have just this fat, tanky hero that you can just get stacks off of. Yeah. It's Cuckoo. Now, looks like FNG is going to take a tumble here. So First Blood goes the way of T1 with the Enchant Totem. And actually the thing I had to hold that thought. Double Impale coming out from Whitemon again. S4 gets hexed, and there's the pounce. It does connect. Popping the wand, keeping alive a little bit longer, but 23 Savage. Well, actually, it wasn't him. Whitemon somehow stole the kill from his position once.
I don't like that narrative, Shannon. It's not a steal.
He stole it.
It's not a steal when the support gets a kill. It's good. He did a good.
If you were a position 1 player, you would agree with me.
I am very much not a position 1 player.
I know.
And I'm all about the team.
Yeah.
Getting a good game for your support. He's going to pay it back to you later.
Yeah, we'll see.
He will do something with that gold that's going to make you really happy. Don't you worry.
Zephyr in the trees right now has his Nature's Grasp ready to go. Has 2 levels of Leech Seeds, so can do even better trading. So they're able to potentially find a kill there. FNG, obviously one of the slowest heroes in the game, is Nico Baby. Not a whole lot of mana to speak of. A nice fissure. Nico Baby forced to go up top. Enchant Totem is there, but don't think they'll get the kill. But he's going to take heavy, heavy damage as a result of this. In fact, Zephyr might be the one in trouble.
Okay.
they're just going to turn it around. So Alliance getting their first kill of the game.
That looked good for T1 because the Fissure and Nature's Grasp were lined up so nicely, and there was no path for Nico Baby to take. He's just tanky enough, and obviously a little bit clunky with these two melee heroes walking in together, end up blocking each other, can't really connect onto Nico Baby, and obviously the Crystal Maiden as well, doing a lot of work. Now FNG, however, is out of mana, and he does not have the aura yet, so he's going to send out 2 Mangoes as well as a Sage's Mask. So for a little bit of time, he will have some downtime here, but it doesn't really matter. Cuckoo's just free farming close to his tower anyway, and I don't think FNG could have done that much about it. So
yeah, you can see in terms of CS, Carl just slightly ahead of Limp right now as he's going to get the Sleight of Fist. Here comes Zephyr from the side. Gets off the Nature's Grasp, going to slow a bit with that Leech Seed as well. Limp in quite a bit of trouble. Pops a Fairy Fire. TP support coming.
He's dead.
Zephyr. Yeah, the last Sleight of Fist, and now FNG might be in some trouble.
He's dead.
Double Remnant. Zephyr will be able to get up a couple right clicks along with the Leech Seed again coming online. So double kill for Carl to start this game. T1 doing very well. I was going to... Man, it's a good thing I didn't say it because that would be a caster's curse, but for the mid lane, Limp definitely off to a better start until that point.
Yeah. And now Carl is going to pull significantly ahead. He's level 6.5 against Limp's 5.75. I think Carl's net worth has to be up by a few hundred. 800 or 700, pardon me.
Yeah, Limp trying to get some retribution here onto Carl.
Oh, he does
get the stun. Yeah, Carl needs to back up despite Whitemon being here. Well, never mind, Zephyr's on the high ground as well. It's a 3v1.
Oh, if Limp dies here, this is
he gets hexed as well. T1 looking for another kill on the mid laner for Alliance.
Okay.
Oh, he gets off. Oh, he's going to mitigate a little bit of damage there. Turning it around.
Okay.
Gets 2 kills before dying. At least gets something out of it this time, Cinderman.
Talk about value Resonant Pulse. They thought they had the kill. You saw Carl already backing off. He was like, all right, Trey on the line, you just hit him once each, he's going to die. He gets that damage block through that 2-hero Resonant Pulse connection, and then he gets level 6 from the first kill, so he can jump on the second kill as well. So a nice heads-up play there from Limp to get something out of that. Because that looked like he was just completely doomed. Bottom lane,
Absolutely.
23 Savage and Whitemon connecting on S4.
He's playing on the edge here, S4. Get a lot of stacks for 23 Savage now. Whitemon with Zephyr's company should be able to take S4 out. He gets off the Gush, but won't be enough to find his way to get the kill on 23 Savage. Halfway to level 6, and once he gets to that point, it's going to be extremely hard to kill this Slark.
You know, dying as an offlaner with a creep wave like that, you're just so sad. Like 23 Savage just denied 4 creeps. He denied a full wave immediately after killing the Tide, and now he's just going to stabilize down here, find his level 6 very soon. It looks like Alliance will try to gank him before then, but keep in mind Slark has night vision, so your angles are a little bit more limited here. And 23 Savage even has a read that something could be coming his way, playing very cautiously. Might even take level 6 just from range without going for the CS. Oh, never mind. We pull it away by S4 though.
Yeah, still level 5 on the Tide Hunter. And as we talked about 23 Savage, this wave should give him level 6. He's given solo XP. There we go. So has his Shadow Dance to work with. Talk to me about... I mean, this looks like a really good Slark game, like theoretically. Against Medusa, against Tide.
I think so too.
Anything else to say?
Like the panel, no, like the panel said, honestly a little bit surprising maybe that Alliance let it through. You pick the Tide first phase.
Yeah.
Most teams go into bans here and ban the Slark. And then, okay, if you want to let that through, that's fine. But you also picked a carry that Slark loves facing. So you made this game even more enjoyable. And it's always important. Okay, hang on. Hanskin.
Yep. Whitemon's going to be there. He'll be able to clean him up pretty easily. A little bit late to the party is Limp. He gets a haste run at the very least.
It's always important when you look at the draft and you look at how the lineups turn out and you're like, man, this hero's counterpicked by 3 picks that wasn't good. You always need to remember what the draft order is, right? Like, you're always giving away information based on pick order. So a lot of the times, even at the absolute highest level with the best drafters in the world, there's going to be heroes that are just hard countered in the game because they get shown early. And obviously that's why a lot of the time you show your support as one of your first 2, sometimes even both supports, so that the cores can have better conditions. But yeah, in this game you did first phase your offlaner, and then I feel like not fully protect him here on S4. So that could end up costing Alliance dearly. He will find his level 6 minute 9, which is not all that great. Cuckoo level almost 8 on the Shaker for comparison. And this is while I believe both position 4s on the, their respective 4s have the same experience as well. So it's just raw offlaner difference. It's not like one of the 4s just took a lot more experience in the lane. I almost said stole. Bad influence from you there. It's not stealing. It's cooperative gameplay.
Okay,
we don't we don't need to spread this agenda of playing cores against the supports even more than they already are in public games.
I mean,
okay?
to be fair, it's gotten a lot better over the course of the last few years because everybody's getting farmed now. Yep, we have the Hex to start things out from Whitemon. This might be another death, but Cookie keeps him alive a little bit longer, but not long enough. FNG not able to save his mid laner. Limp now with his 3rd death of the game. And like I said, in terms of the 1v1, he was doing great, but since these ganks have been coming, just feels like non-stop from T1. He's just been dying left and right.
And the concern I have right now for Alliance is, what's your move, right? You need to do something about this status quo. It's not favoring you. You have a Slark laning against Tide. He's happy. Shaker's laning against Medusa. He's also happy. He's just, like, Kuka's just farming lane and jungle. He's out-farming the Medusa as Shaker in this lane effectively. His net worth being higher by about 300 right now. And as we've already covered, Karl is 5-0. So you're also losing it. So you have to make something happen in the game. This is not the kind of game where, oh, we'll just park, we'll stack some Ancients, park Medusa mid, go farm the triangle, and then we're going to have this, like, strong timing, because in a few minutes, T1 is going to be running at you and pressuring you, and you're not going to get that area for free, so...
T1 getting credit for another kill. I mean, speaking of Ancients, there is a stack for Medusa to eventually take, but you can see that there's a somewhat aggressive ward also placed in that area for T1. So when that is being taken, they'll probably try to contest. 23 Savage trying to get some trade-off here.
Might dive here. This is dangerous, though. Yeah, he's going to think twice
especially
about
with 23 Savage having his ult, so a lot
Karl.
of passive regen now. Karl gets off the Searing Chains. S4 is going to apply the Ravage, but will it save his life? Negatory. Sleight of Fish finishes him off, but Limp & Company might be able to get some beautiful trades here. Karl does one more Sleight of Fish, but dies shortly after. In the meantime, 23 Savage destroys Crystal Maiden despite getting that freezing field out for about a half a second. Hanskin looks to be next on the menu, but he does get Cookie off in time. 23 Savage, okay, we have the Mortimer's Kisses from afar, but they're going to go for the Limp kill. They'll get it successfully. It'll cost him his life. But he does get the stack at the very least of Essence Shift. Nico Baby all alone in the mid lane, so this is exactly what Alliance needs.
Pretty good for Alliance overall here. It might have looked like a bad Ravage, but ultimately they do get pretty much value out of it, finding those 2 kills and almost a mid-tier 1 tower. Lovely play from Nico Baby, especially to make that judgment call as Medusa to go push mid minute 10. That is not an obvious choice to make in this game state, but looking at what was happening bottom, it was definitely the right call for him to go there and get as much out of it as he could. You've got to be like a shark, is what he says, and not exactly the most hyper-aggressive carry that can be like a shark that he's playing here, but he's finding as much food as he can there in the mid lane.
That's true. I mean,
very slow
when
Medusa.
I think of Nico Baby, I actually do think of Medusa because it's literally tattooed on his neck.
Yes,
so
that is true.
He has some sort of affinity with this hero, Cinder, and so we'll see how he performs this game. Tier 1 tower.
Yeah.
It's pretty low on HP here, and T1 want to try to... Well, S4. I mean, this is what Tidehunter does. Just puts his fat-ass body here.
You're unlikely to access this tower without a siege creep against Tide with the heroes that you have right now. So S4 making the right call to go there, and then Nico Baby's back to the jungle, probably going to be looking at that Ancient stack. Might triple stack it here before 13 or even quad stack it. It is being pinged by Zephyr, so he kind of has the same read that, you know what? This is probably what Alliance are going to be looking to do next, and he's completely right. The stack is now coming in from Hanskin, so would imagine a smoke play could come up soon. I'm hearing a pick pull.
Yep, that was used to stack. Very important that he had pick pull to be able to pull that off successfully.
They didn't stack, did they?
Okay, good effort.
I think the timing was off.
Yeah, maybe. The pick pull needed to be activated about a half second earlier, Cinderin.
Maybe he activated pick pull and the Ancients got scared and ran back.
Yeah, they'd be scared by a pick for sure. S4. Stuck inside the Nature's Grasp. Looks like he's going to be taken out. Does not have Ravage yet. Okay, never mind. Kraken Shield activates.
That's good call. FNG takes him out there. From the lane. Nova saves him. Very good.
It takes him out from the lane. Technically correct is always correct. Alliance looking to go on 23 Savage, who's very low on mana right now, but...
Here comes T1. Dagger on Shaker. They want to jump in.
Oh, Pounce not able to connect for 23 Savage. Cuckoo. Like you said, Blink Dagger's there. It gets the Enchant Totem off. And Limp Astral steps to safety. Does that have any more stacks, though? Another 6 seconds before it comes off cooldown. Mortimer kisses from afar.
Very good kiss.
Actually, onto 3 heroes. T1 taking so much damage, but the Echo Slam is expended to at least get 23 Savage. It's going to be a trade for 3, though. Triple kill for Hanskin with a god tier Mortimer's Kisses.
Oh my god, can you imagine a damage breakdown on that one? 3k damage.
Not bad.
We're 14 minutes in. That is some sick value out of the kisses there. And yeah, T1, they were really looking for that Void Spirit kill, but unfortunately, Lion could not fully connect. I think maybe if Cuckoo Echo Slam's there, that could have bridged the gap, but understandably doesn't want to use it, and just really hits a play there from Hanskin to find that angle and get a big old off.
Yeah. It'd be like Mortimer's Belches or something, you know? Like, he's not... I don't see the connection at all.
I know you really want to make belches happen in this game, but there's only one hero that has those, and that's Pudge, and that's probably going to stay that way.
It's too bad. This is one of the best Mortimer's kisses we've seen this tournament for sure. Getting really big value out of that. Zephyr, Cookie connects on top of him. He's going to be taken out very quickly.
Wait,
never mind.
what?
Gets the overgrowth off. They got a little bit too confident. Finally gets taken out though, but the TPs are here from T1 trying to turn this around. Limp takes a tumble. 3 dead so quickly in favor of T1. Hanskin will get hexed as well.
Limp didn't finish the kill. He had the...
I mean, would that have made a difference, you think?
He thought the Trant was dying, so he used Dissimulate, right? And he jumped away.
Yeah, he thought he had it for sure.
Yeah, what ends up happening is that instead of killing Trant, he gets a 2-man ulti off.
Yeah.
That allows his entire team to connect on both of them. So definitely going to be regretting that. Like, you probably have casualties there regardless, even if you do kill off the Trant with that Dissimulate. But at the very least, both not you and Tide, you don't both get caught. And it forced them to Ravage, right? Like, that's the thing. S4 popped the Ravage because he was like, okay, I have to kill the Trant because we didn't get it done with the Void Spirit. And then he doesn't have the Ravage when all of T1 connects. So honestly, kind of a huge mistake there for Alliance that ends up costing them a lot.
As you can see, T1 taking the lead in terms of just the net worth alone. Diffusal Blade now online for 23 Savage.
Yeah, he is strong.
Yep. Going for the BKB next, so looking to fight pretty early. Has 7 stacks already of Essence Shift, actually.
If he has BKB, he only needs to worry about 1 spell for the entire BKB duration. That's Stone Gaze. Nothing else is going to touch him at all. They don't have significant single target damage. That's one of the things you trade off when you pick Medusa. She's a very good spread damage carrier, but doesn't, until very late, start having that heavy single target because your natural buildup will favor split shot for the farming, and you don't get like something like first item Daedalus or whatever, right? Like, not that any carry does that, but you get the idea. It takes time. You need 3 or 4 items before you truly start just standing your ground against Slark. So with that BKB, he can feel very, very safe. Oh, he's actually maybe getting eyes on Nico Baby here with that night vision. He sees him.
Yeah. But
it's going to leech a bit of the experience.
Ancients are taken out for Nico Baby, so at least that is not contested.
He's going to wrap around. He will see Hanskin here. He saw the Solar Crest being used, and that means Hanskin has no defensive capability from that. No plus armor.
Will just cookie himself to the high ground, though. And we see the Stone Gaze going up, but a nice fissure blocking him off. Cuckoo, in the meantime, looks like that's going to be the sacrifice. Fissures and dies. So not the setup that T1 was looking for. A good defense from Alliance.
Yep. As I've talked about in a previous cast, I always wonder, it gives an insight into what players are thinking when they ping heroes like this. He just pinged Snapfire Medusa.
Looks like Zephyr is going to die. Gets off the overgrowth, but 100 seconds of none of that for him. Okay, I was going to say, I don't want to jinx it anymore, so I'm very hesitant now. That took quite a while, which maybe not so good a sign for Alliance, but they're not too far behind right now, so definitely can find an avenue back in the driver's seat for this game.
Yeah, this bottom tower is definitely gone. Nico Baby's going to take that, working on his Scotty. He went for SNY, opting not to go Manta against Treant, which I think a lot of Medusas would. Overgrowth is very annoying to deal with for carries in general. Sometimes in the past we've even seen carries go Manta BKB first too, just to deal with Treant on a hero like, for example, Troll Warlord, who's totally dependent on being able to attack in his ult. But
Overgrowth, Searing Chains, there's a couple things to take off here.
I feel like Manta would have a lot of value here, but Nico, maybe he feels like there's too much, so he'd rather have the status resistance, so at least he gets rid of them faster than having that one quick removal. I could see the logic in that as well. You're playing against Shaker and Lion, there's just too much. Probably. So I kind of like this way of approaching it instead of the Manta.
I like how we just went through a little mind experiment where you've convinced yourself after talking. It's good to see.
Yeah, it's
very open mind. You're able to convince yourself of something else if you want. Oh, looks like Crystal Maiden is done. FNG trying to get the D-ward.
That is how all machine learning works, by the way. I train against myself and come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
So
that is quite that's shockingly accurate and disturbingly accurate, in fact. Nico Baby, like you said, working on the Scotty now. As Alliance trying to stave off elimination here in game number 2 of this best of 3. S4 trying to TP out, but the pounce will cancel. Whitemon in the vicinity as well.
S4 trying to run. S4 trying to move.
He's not going to move.
S4 trying to cast a spell.
Thank you for the commentary, Cinderin, as always.
S4 trying to respawn.
I would love for you to cast a team fight. Just
Cinderin trying to
robot
cast.
voice. Robot cast. Sounds good to me. 23 Savage now. Still a ways away from the BKB.
FNG.
Yep, that's another death for him. 23 Savage now with 9 permanent stacks of Essence Shift. Gonna harass Nico Baby a bit.
Free stacks.
Yeah, and of course you can see the power of Slark against the Medusa just drains the mana so much faster, especially with the Diffusal Blade on top of that.
We did say it was going to be a hard maiden game, man. FNG is just... I don't know, I'm not in the booth. I would imagine he's not particularly having fun. Not seeing a lot of voice lines, not seeing a lot of laughing. Also can't see him, so that would probably be a little bit hard to see, but...
True.
It is, it's tough being a maiden in this game. And in hindsight, you know, Alliance, when they picked it, perhaps... This is one of those picks that's easier to criticize, because with the information they had available at the time, you set up even more for a good Slark game, because it's good against Maiden, right?
Yeah.
And the heroes that you saw at that given point in time was, I think, Treant, Lion, Shaker, which, from my perspective, Crystal Maiden doesn't perform particularly well against. So maybe you were just really hungry for the aura for your Void Spirit and Dusa. But yeah, tough game for FNG, that's for sure.
No doubt. We got the
finally
dagger.
gets the D ward. He fought hard for that one.
It's so hard to ward against a Slark. The fact that he just knows that there's vision in the area, especially with the pro... I mean, in pubs maybe it doesn't matter as much, depending on the skill level, but pro games it is so difficult.
Yeah. Yes. It's honestly one of the... Like, that's what makes Slark such a powerful hero when it's a good pick against the enemy, is the added benefits. It's the fact that you get a hero that can find wards and has 1800 night vision. Just a super crucial part at the highest level of engaging fights, getting information for free, making the right decisions. A lot of the time, Slark actually ends up winning the game because he has information that other carriers just wouldn't have in the same position, and you just make one good call that wins you a team fight and gets you Roche. Just flat out off Shadow Dance and nothing else. So, yeah.
Cuckoo has his Ags on the way, so we'll be able to use Enchant Totem to initiate along with the Blink. Yeah, position 3 Earthshaker always feels pretty good because you can get these items really fast compared to what we're used to. Oh, we're going to see a big collision here. Yeah, that's true. Fey Grenade on Earthshaker, pretty disgusting. S4 trying to tank things up as the initiation comes. Carl, let's see the BKB picked up, or popped by 23 Savage, going to town on S4 in the meantime. You can see Ember Spirit creating so much space on the back line. Nico Baby forced his ult out. Now Hanskin not quite going to die here. It's nice taunt onto Carl, but there's the double kill with the Sleight of Fist. He's taking a lot of damage, though. Can he get out in time? Is 23 Savage just focusing on Nico Baby. There's the Overgrowth to keep them in place. There's so many stacks now, but finally the Ravage comes out onto S4, but it's not going to matter, Cinderin. This is going to be a full team wipe for T1, and they barely took any damage.
It's such a godly fight from Carl. He just does everything right. See, the fight breaks out, they see the tide, and he gets a little bit of vision on the backline supports. He literally zoned 2 heroes on his own, killed them both, and then lived after. Like, you can't ask for more out of an Ember Spirit in a game like this. I'm not going to say he single-handedly won the fight, but he definitely spearheaded it. So you're going to see the replay here. S4 goes out and breaks the smoke. They're going to poke him a little bit here with Slight Chains, and as soon as Carl sees the backline here, he's just immediately going to go in, BKB up, kill Maiden instantly. Not that that's too big of an accomplishment, but then he's going to go on to the next targets. Notice how Snap can't play. Like, Hanskin can't play his hero here. He then kites away. This starts looking dodgy. Good Slight. And then ultimately gets to reset position. The Hex there at the bottom of your screen onto the Void Spirit, keeping Carl alive. So really good teamwork in that.
Yeah, Overgrowth just sealed it right there. As we see FNG now gets off the freezing field for just a little bit, but not resulting in a kill as of yet. Zephyr still more than healthy. Yeah. Divide and conquer right there with that fissure.
Alliance are just not finding moments right now. And while Nico Baby is really farmed this game and is having a good time, the rest of the team are just lacking severely behind based on the nature of the game. Like, yeah, you're going to be able to farm on at least 1 core in most games like this, but Medusa can't carry this game on her own. There needs to be more damage than just that split shot. Right now, Void Spirit, what are you sitting on? You have Not even a Kaya Sanj, minute 24 for Limp. Having a very tough game here. Lower net worth than the 3 tied, who's 0-6 in the off lane. Limp 2-7 on Void. And S4 with Hood, Halberd, at least has some sort of defensive tool against that Slark, but the problem is you can outlast, but can you even kill? That doesn't make sense. Outlast was the wrong word. Okay,
Makes
Nico
a lot
Baby
of
in
sense.
trouble.
Nico Baby, he gets off his ult. They're just going to try to withstand it. FNG and company have come to help out as well. Slider Fist doing so much damage. FNG again dead. No big surprise. There's the Searing Chains now. Nico Baby trying to stay alive, but it looks like the right clicks will come through. 23 Savage getting that one with the BKB activated, and they're not done yet. Looks like Hansking is next on the list as S4 and Alliance are starting to crumble here, Cinderin. T1 looking primed to take this series 2-0. They lose one. It's only Cuckoo.
6 for 1.
6 for 1. That is true. Dieback on FNG. And into the Roche Pit, T1 goes. So you can see a replay here. The initiation on to Nico. I mean, the fact that you have a here again, we talked about this before, but Slark against Medusa just feels incredible.
Yeah.
Like, is there a better a carry versus carry matchup for against Medusa?
I think
it's up there.
I think Slark has to be one of the best. I think Ursa deserves an honorable mention just because of how much mana burn he can get out so fast for the overpower, but yeah, it's definitely up there. And like you said, Slark being one of the best. We can go back to the draft all we want. Obviously, the game is being played out right now, but probably something that Alliance aren't too happy about. Someone who is happy there, though, Zephyr, definitely having a great time. They chose to give him Treant this game. I think he's done an excellent job. In all honesty, it doesn't feel like Treant has been the absolutely most integral reason why this lineup has worked, though. It's something to think ahead for the other teams that are very likely to face T1 now, as Alliance are very much on the back foot, but perhaps prioritizing other bans against this team could be worth it. Look at that change in just the last 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Slark and company are up with a 19-1 chance of winning.
Yeah, that is rough stuff. 94% win rate, or win probability for T1. Still 4 minutes to go with the Aegis, so plenty of time for T1 to farm the map. Make sure that Alliance gets kind of starved out of the areas that they want to farm, and eventually go high ground. They don't have the best high ground, again. We've talked about this before, but T1's lineup, that's, I guess, one of the negatives coming out of it, but
they have so much safety on their course. That's the thing. Like, Slark and Ember can farm hyper-aggressively because Alliance's ways of killing them are super limited. I honestly think you can't kill either Slark or Ember without Ravage.
Yeah, you need Ravage.
You can't chain stun long enough, and S4 doesn't have Dagger.
The thing that they're missing, I mean, again, this is hindsight, but burst damage against Slark would be very nice in this scenario.
Oh, here we go!
Yeah. Jump in from Carl. Looks like FNG is just going to die. No, actually lives with barely any HP, and then finally gets taken out first as Carl will go back to safety. 23 Savage on the back line now, trying to target Limp. You see the Fissure come out as well. BKB dodging the Ravage as a result. Limp is going to stay alive, though. Mortimer kisses from afar. Cuckoo taking the brunt of the damage here. Looks like he's going to drop the first to fall for T1, but 23 Savage looks perfectly healthy for now. Pops his ult.
He still
gets one kill. Nico Baby, very low on mana, which means he is very susceptible to die here, Cinder. And 23 Savage resetting, going back in, a buyback. You see the mana drain coming from Whitemon as well. Nico Baby pops the wand, but to little avail. Zephyr does get off his ult, but the finger of death taking Nico Baby out in spades. No buyback for him. You see a nice freezing field come out, but it's going to result in the kill of Carl. In the meantime, beautiful nail on the two. S4 on the run, trying to get back into this base. Is 23 Savage not scared of anything because that Aegis is still intact.
That was maybe a little bit too cute there from Savage, but he's obviously able to reset out of here. Guess how long would he have had on the Aegis? That was still a good 2 minutes left on that. It was maybe a little bit unnecessary, but
2 for 2 with the. I mean, that was a pretty long fight, and only 2 died for Alliance. You got to be happy with that. Although Nico Baby is the one that has to survive in these fights.
Yeah. If they could have got away with that, losing any other hero than Nico, and he gets 1 or 2 kills, is probably a net win. But like this, it kind of turns into a draw. You've got to keep in mind, Slark is getting a lot of those stacks now. 16 permanent agility on Savage. Surely you've got to pay good amounts of gold for this. That's just another, like, add that to the pile of benefits that this hero has that we talked about, right?
Yeah, but there are a lot of Slark games that are not good, right?
Yeah.
Like, it does take a certain lineup for it to really shine.
Oh, he
unlike
is
some
looking.
other carries.
He knows they don't see him. Shadow Dance is active.
Yeah. Has his shard, by the way, so has the depth shroud to be able to use on teammates or himself.
Yeah.
Basically like a free ult. S4 up. He's going to get pounced on. I think 23 Savage is just trying to get away. And he will be successful at that either way.
Out. They're just going to full reset. They don't have Carl. So we'll wait up. Carl's going to go top, start pushing that out. Obviously with that Ags can connect pretty quickly. Going to clean up that wave very fast with double Remnant.
Yeah, working on the refresher. Already has the Ags in his inventory. So we'll be zipping all over the place. The win probabilities actually changed slightly in Alliance's favor in the last couple minutes.
1% down.
Yep.
All right, just another 50 good team fights, and then we're there. Well,
I mean, they do have good team fights, to be fair, but the problem is really it's Ember Spirit on the back line just killing supports.
This is definitely doable, and what it's going to come down to is ideally that T1 go on Nico Baby, and you get to play your other heroes effectively, right? One of the big differences in that fight, like you pointed out, was that there was actually decent freezing field for once, and it makes a huge difference. That's what ended up killing Carl. He wasn't expecting that burst of damage coming in from the tree line, so if you do set it up here for Alliance, it could work. Okay, instantly breaking the smoke.
Yeah, Shadow Blade up. Got the ensnare coming out as well. BKB, there's the Echo Slam onto 2. Limp already dead in this engagement. 2 dead for Alliance to start this fight out. Nico Baby getting mana drain for a little bit of time here. It's 23 Savage. Now just focusing on Nico Baby along with Cuckoo, getting the stuns out. We'll see how that status resist works from this time. But the mana drain from that Diffusal and the Escient stacks are just getting out of control for T1. They only lose their support Lion and get 4 kills as the trade. And T1 looking to go high ground. There is a buyback on Nico Baby, but will it matter? The building damage is now coming through.
At the very least, that Glyph kills off the siege creep, but this Slark with current 18 permanent agility and 68 stolen.
Pretty good.
Very fast.
See the halberd being used, but this will be a full set of mid-racks in all likelihood for T1. As S4 going to get some free stacks to 23 Savage. And T1 going to bide their time here, Cinderin. Like I said, these matches are just so important. You cannot give up leads like this. So likely to play quite disciplined, potentially even waiting for the second Roche.
Yeah, it's not far away. The early respawn is in less than 2 minutes, so definitely is a possibility. I think T1 can just take this top tier 2 tower without too much worry. Carl is going to go and take care of that.
No.
And Savage will also be farming up the Ancient camp on the Dire side. The whole triangle, as a matter of fact. FNG, I feel like I've seen him make this play like 7 times this game. Go to that cliff, place sentry, use a Nova, a D-ward, and go away. And he's died 2 or 3 times there. This time doesn't die, but unfortunately also doesn't find any ward. But whenever you find yourself D-warding that spot multiple times in a row in a game, you know what kind of game it is. Like, that spot is about the most offensive ward you can possibly place as Radiant that is not inside the enemy base. Yeah. So pretty indicative of the game state for Alliance. They're just cornered completely.
You can see Nico Baby going for the Divine Rapier, Cinderin. Still about 3k away from finishing it.
You gotta do it, honestly. You have to take that risk. Savage gonna find Limp. Oh, the tower, though.
And Limp has to Astral Step. Uses both, in fact, just to make sure he doesn't take another death to his name. And yeah, map control firmly in T1's favor right now as we likely wait for the next Roche. So in 30 seconds, we'll find out when that will actually spawn. FNG trying to get some map control back, but it feels like he's just died every time he's attempting this. The poor lad.
And they know the ward is there because of Shadow Dance. So get rid of that immediately. Nico Baby is exposed here. Alliance are trying to bait him. They really want this fight where they go on Nico. They feel like it's their only chance, and I agree with this 100%.
Smoke up as well. And already gets popped. The Ember Spirit on the backline again. Ravage comes out from S4. 23 Savage does take considerable damage, but again, FNG dies at the beginning of the fight. Carl, look at how much space he's creating. Just absolutely decimates Hanskin with just his remnants. Whitemon jumps in with the finger of death. 3 dead for Alliance, and they are likely out of TI-10 after this fight. Medusa takes a tumble. Triple kill for Carl. And S4 finally goes down. He's the only remaining member for Alliance with buyback. They call GG, and T1 moves on. Cinderin, Alliance out.
Yeah, there's just no doubt about it after watching these two games. T1 just clearly the better team at this event. Alliance got completely rolled both games. There were some glimmers of hope. Again,